This tutorial is going to be about getting decent images off the internet. One of the problems that arises is as soon as you start dealing with resolution, everything on the internet is basically 72 ppi, and when we're using it in print, we're using it at a higher resolution. So when the resolution goes up, the physical size goes down. So if we have a look at an image search for a minute, so I think Bing is the one that you're typically using. If I click here and I'll put in stones or rocks or something like that, I do a search and I change it to images. Now if I roll over these, you'll see the numbers down the bottom are going to change. So this one's 950 pixels, this one's 1200, 750. So the numbers are changing all the time. So all of these images have a slightly different size and perhaps even resolution. So the first thing we want to do is we want to come along here to filter, and when you click it on, you will see these things pop up here. And if we go to image size, you now have some options where you can put in a customized width and height, and you have all small, medium, large, extra large. And on Google you'll have something very similar. If we click large, then we know that all of the images through here are going to be a particular size. If we click extra large, it limits the size down anymore, but you can see the numbers up the top are all pretty big. If I went small, you'd see now the numbers are 185, 150. These are way too small to use for what we want. So you really need to have it on at least large. Extra large would probably be even better. And then what I do is I find an image I like. I'm just going to go for something on here. Remember as well that this says 500, so if I want to select a rock just out of the middle, once that's cut down, it's going to be much smaller in size and resolution again. So I might just click on this image. Once we get it here, I can control, click on the image, and I go open a new tab, because if I get the image from here, I'm not necessarily getting the full size one. I'm getting a kind of a preview. Click on that tab, and now you can see I've got the plus. Click on that. So now I'm getting a fuller image. If I control click, save as, and what I've got here is I've actually made a folder, and I want you to start working in this way now. I'm making a particular folder, and I set it up with these things. I have a folder called research, I have a folder called working, and I have a folder called images. Now at the moment I'm going to take this image, I'll give it a name, and I'll save it in here. Once I start working with it in Photoshop and masking it, then I save it into images. Working is as I'm using the Illustrator and the Photoshop files, I'll have them in there. So I'll save this here, rocks, and I'm going to jump into Photoshop just to show you a couple of things. So now that I'm in Photoshop, I'm going to make a new page, A3. is if I couldn't find this here, I'd just go print, view all presets, and here somewhere I'd have A3. Now, the physical size is good. The resolution that I'm going to put in is 150. So 150, 200 is what's good for a print if it's coming out of a laser printer. So I'll go create, and then I'll end up with this page. So I'll go and find my file. Oh, there it is. So assignment 3, research, rocks, open it, and now I'm going to have a look at the sizing of this. So image size, and sometimes when you come in, this resample is switched on. If you switch it off, you'll see that all of these things are linked. And if I change the resolution, so if I change it to 150, the physical size will go down. If I change the physical size up, the resolution goes down. So these things are working together. So I'll get it on 150. Make sure it's pixels per inch and not per centimeter. And I'll go OK. Now, the other thing as well is if I have another page that has the resolution at the right size, when I drag and drop another image on it, it's going to change to match whatever the resolution is on this image underneath. So you can see for an image that seemed pretty big, now it doesn't take up so much space. And of course, once you start masking, then again we end up with an image that's only just that size. So if we jump back to Photoshop for a second, and I'll take that back to what we were looking at. So that image there, you can see, was 1,000. So let's see what else we can find. Rocks, large. This time I'm going to go extra large. Okay, so this one looks pretty good. So it's a bit bigger, 1200, but it takes up more space. So I'm going to click on it, control click, open image in a new tab, click on it, so I've got the big size one, control click, save image as, and now let's jump back into Photoshop. File, open, look to, select the subject, I'll mask it, and I'm just going to drag it over. Okay, so now you can kind of see the size differences that's dropped in over the top. So this is something that you have to be aware of. You can't just do a general search on the internet and end up with an image that's going to be perfect. You really have to think about the size.